Spoiler alert. Guys, I just got back from seeing Dark Phoenix, and if you don't want to know anything else, click away now, because there is going to be spoilers. Okay, so everyone left who doesn't care about spoilers, or doesn't care about this movie, let me break it down for you. This movie wasn't good. It wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen, but it wasn't great either. Now, I loved all the actors in this movie. Michael Fassbender, James McAvoy, Jennifer Lawrence, Sophie Turner, Nicholas Hoult, they all turn in incredible performances, as does the rest of the cast, including Jessica Chastain, newcomer to the franchise. Unfortunately, they just weren't given that much to work with, and the movie feels hollow and empty, especially compared to other fantastic superhero movies that have come out this year, such as Shazam and Avengers Endgame, and even Captain Marvel, which I didn't even really care about. The problem is not with any of them or their acting. This movie takes what is one of the greatest comic book sagas of all time and one of the central stories to the X-Men universe and basically throws it in the trash, just like it did in 2006 with X-Men The Last Stand. Except even X-Men The Last Stand was more nuanced and did a little bit better job at conveying the emotions of all the characters. Everybody in this movie is just a gigantic blunt instrument. And on top of that, none of the characters' motivations ever seem very clear. Professor X puts barriers up around Jean's mind when she's a child because he's scared of her finding out of what she's capable of and that her father never wanted her. Magneto, who's still allowed to roam free after the events of X-Men Apocalypse, which are completely ignored pretty much, by the way, he accepts Jean in initially and then throws her out when she throws a temper tantrum, and then decides she needs to die because she kills Mystique, a woman who apparently both he and Beast Nicholas Hoult are in love with. And to be honest, even Mystique's death felt hollow and empty. It just felt like Jennifer Lawrence was looking for a way out of this already dying franchise. Her death wasn't a great motivator, it wasn't emotionally charged, it didn't really do anything for the rest of the film except make all of the characters angry and go charging off into the unknown with no plan. And for some reason, all of Professor X's character development up to this point is thrown out the window so he could be some sort of poster child for mutant equality. And that's another thing. Mutants and humans in this movie are getting along perfectly fine, mutants are accepted, everything's hunky-dory. So when Magneto decides to go in and kill Jean Grey for being an overpowering force, there's still the argument between Professor X and Magneto that, hey old friend, you can't do this, they'll see us as monsters. But we're past that. They don't see you as monsters, and it doesn't make any sense. Add to that there's a line in this movie that Magneto says, which is, "You're always sorry, Charles, and there's always a speech, and nobody cares anymore." Which is fine, because nobody cares anymore. However, 15 minutes later, not even in the movie, Charles says sorry to Magneto, gives a speech, and Magneto changes his whole viewpoint on Jean Grey and the Phoenix Force. And I do this because it's not really the Phoenix Force. It's just some sort of cosmic entity that is super powerful, that these weird aliens that have no backstory just want to control so they can destroy Earth so they can go and have a home planet again. It's not even said that force destroyed their planet, it's just said they don't have a planet. Their motivations are unclear, they're hollow villains, and it's just stupid. And this movie continues to play up the whole old friends between Eric and Charles again. But we're past that. We've been past that. You can't keep using the same material over and over again and expecting it to still be fresh. This movie's stale, it's tired, and I'm really glad it's going to be the last entry, aside from New Mutants, in Fox's X-Men universe. It just wasn't a good send-off, though, and I wish it would have been better. And it had a lot of potential. It just didn't live up to that hype. Guys, I'm going to give this one 1 out of 5 bad superhero movies. Better yet, 1 out of 5 bad X-Men movies. Because I'm not even sure how the series has managed to limp along for 19 years. Well, technically 20, because the first one was in production in 1999. They've seemed like they've had more flops than hits. But that's just my opinion. Guys, that's all for this review. Next up, we're going to be reviewing The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. And until then, please remember, Taylor Swift doesn't care about you.